In our previous lecture, we explored goal-seek analysis, a powerful tool for working backward and finding the input value needed to achieve a desired outcome. In this lesson, we are going to delve into another fantastic feature of Excel that is called data table analysis. Data tables are an incredibly useful tool for understanding how the output of a formula changes when input values vary. By leveraging data tables, we can easily examine and analyze different scenarios, making data-driven decisions. So let us jump right in and explore the world of data tables in Excel. To understand this concept better, let us consider a scenario where you have a product with varying prices and quantities sold. You want to calculate the net earnings based on different combinations of price and quantity. Normally, you would manually input each combination and calculate the net earnings using a formula. But this can be time-consuming and prone to error, especially when dealing with multiple combinations. This is where data tables come to the rescue. Data tables allow us to automate the process of calculating results for different combinations of input values. Instead of manually entering each combination and calculating the output, we can use data tables to perform these calculations automatically and present the results in a clear and organized manner. So to create a data table in Excel, we need to select the entire table where we want the new values to be displayed after the calculation. Once the table is selected, we can go to the Data tab and click on What If Analysis. From the drop-down, select Data Table. A dialog box appears, and we have two options: Row Input Cell and Column Input Cell. Row input cell represents the changing input values in the rows of our table. Column input cell represents the changing input values in the columns of our table. We need to select the appropriate cells based on our scenario. Let us consider our example of prices and quantities. In the original formula, the prices are in a specific cell. So we select that cell as the row input cell. Similarly, the quantities are in another specific cell. So we select that cell as the column input cell. Click OK and Excel will populate the table with the corresponding net earnings for each combination of prices and quantities. Data tables provide a clear and organized way to compare the results for different scenarios. They allow us to analyze the impact of changing input values on the output, providing valuable insights for decision making. Now, this analysis can be extremely useful in real-life situations where we need to understand how changes in variables affect the overall outcome. Let us take a real-world example to solidify our understanding of data tables. Let's say you are running a restaurant and you want to analyze the impact of different menu prices and customer volumes on your total revenue. You have a pricing range and various customer volume scenarios. By creating a data table with prices in the rows and customer volumes in the columns, you can easily see how different combinations affect your revenue. This allows you to optimize your pricing strategy and make informed decisions to maximize your revenue. Suppose you have a pricing range from $10 to $20 with $2 increments, and you want to analyze customer volumes ranging from 50 to 100 with increments of 25. You can create a data table with prices in the rows and customer volumes in the column to see how different combinations affect your revenue. Data tables can be applied to a wide range of scenarios like financial modeling, sales forecasting, inventory management, and much more. They provide a dynamic way to explore different possibilities and make informed decisions. In this example, you would input the formula for calculating revenue in each cell of the data table. The formula could be something like price into customer volume. By applying the formula to each cell in the data table, Excel will automatically calculate the revenue for each combination of prices and customer volumes, giving you a clear overview of how different scenarios impact your total revenue. Now, let us discuss some key points to keep in mind when working with data tables. Data tables work with only one or two input variables. This means that if you have more than two variables that you want to analyze, you have a couple of options. You can create multiple data tables, each focusing on different variables, or you can explore more advanced techniques such as Solver. Now, Solver is a powerful tool in Excel that allows you to find the optimal solution by adjusting multiple variables based on certain constraints. Now, let us talk about the types of data tables that you can create. Data tables can be one-way or two-way. In a one-way data table, either the row input or column input changes, while the other remains constant. This allows you to analyze the impact of one variable on the output. On the other hand, in a two-way data table, both the row input and the column input change simultaneously. This enables you to analyze the interaction between two variables and how they affect the output. One of the great things about data tables is that they can work with any formula that references the input cells. Whether you are using a simple mathematical formula or a complex formula involving multiple cells, data tables can handle it. This flexibility allows you to perform various types of calculations and analysis, making your decision-making process more robust. Lastly, I want to mention that data tables can be created for both row-oriented and column-oriented calculations. This means that you have the flexibility to choose the orientation that best suits your scenario. If your input values are better represented in rows, you can set up your data accordingly. Conversely, if your input values are better represented in columns, then you can adjust the orientation accordingly. Excel provides you with the freedom to organize your data in a way that makes the most sense for your analysis. So these are some additional points to keep in mind when working with data tables in Excel. They allow us to analyze different scenarios, make informed decisions, and yes, gain valuable insights. By leveraging the power of data tables, you can save time, you can reduce errors, and you can optimize your decision-making process. Now, let us dive a little deeper into data tables, exploring advanced techniques, customizations, and some real-world examples. Let us jump right in and expand our knowledge of data tables. One very powerful feature of data table is the ability to perform sensitivity analysis. Sensitivity analysis helps us understand how changes in input values affect the output. By creating data tables with different ranges of input values, we can visualize the impact and make informed decisions based on the results. Let's consider a practical example to illustrate sensitivity analysis using data tables. Imagine you are a financial analyst and you are analyzing the profitability of a project. The project's profitability depends on factors like initial investment, sales volume, and production costs. By creating a data table with different ranges of these variables, you can analyze how changes in each factor affect the project's profitability. This allows you to identify the key drivers and make adjustments to optimize the project's financial performance. To perform sensitivity analysis using data tables, you need to define the range of input values for each variable. For example, if you are analyzing the impact of sales volume and production costs, you would create a range of different sales volumes in the row input cell and a range of different production costs in the column input cell. Excel will automatically calculate the results for each combination of sales volume and production costs, allowing you to analyze the sensitivity of the project's profitability to these variables. Data tables also offer customization options to enhance their visual representation and facilitate data analysis. Let us explore some of the customization options that are available. Formatting. You can apply formatting options to the cells within the data table to make them visually appealing and easier to read. This includes adjusting font styles, colors, borders, and cell backgrounds. Conditional formatting. Excel's conditional formatting feature allows you to highlight specific cells within the data table based on some predefined criteria. For example, you can use conditional formatting to highlight cells with the highest or lowest values, identify outliers, or highlight cells that meet specific conditions. Data validation. Data validation helps ensure that the input values in the data table fall within a specific range or meet certain criteria. This prevents data entry errors and ensures the accuracy of your analysis. Charting. Excel provides various chart types that can be used to visually represent the results of your data table. By creating charts, you can gain a better understanding of the trends and patterns in the data, making it easier to interpret and communicate your analysis. Now, let us continue our discussion on the real-world applications of data tables. So we are going to explore some additional examples where data tables can be really useful. Example 1, financial modeling. In the field of finance, data tables are widely used to perform sensitivity analysis for investment scenarios. Now, what does that mean? Well, let us imagine that you are a financial analyst evaluating an investment. By using data tables, you can vary input variables such as interest rates, cash flows, and project timelines. This allows you to assess the impact of these variables on key financial metrics like the net present value or the NPV, the internal rate of return or IRR, and payback period. By exploring different scenarios through data tables, you can gain insights into how changes in these variables affect the financial performance of the investment. This helps you make informed decisions and evaluate the risk and return associated with different investment options. Example 2, pricing optimization. Pricing is a critical aspect of any business, and data tables can be very useful in optimizing pricing strategies. Let us say you are a pricing analyst for a company. By creating a data table with different price points in the rows and quantities sold in the columns, you can easily analyze how different combinations affect revenue and profitability. This allows you to identify the optimal price points that maximize revenue while considering market demands and customer behavior. By using data tables to explore various pricing scenarios, you can fine-tune your pricing strategy and find the sweet spot that maximizes both sales and profitability. Example 3, inventory management. Inventory management is a challenge for many businesses, and data tables can provide valuable insights in this area as well. Imagine you are a supply chain manager responsible for inventory control. By creating a data table with different inventory turnover ratios in the rows and reorder points in the columns, you can analyze the impact of different scenarios on inventory levels. This enables you to determine the optimal inventory turnover ratios and reorder points that minimize stockouts while avoiding excessive inventory holding costs. By considering various demand scenarios and lead times, data tables help you make data-driven decisions to optimize your inventory levels and ensure that you have just the right amount of stock to meet customer demand without incurring unnecessary costs. Example 4, sales forecasting. Sales forecasting is another area where data tables can be quite valuable. Let us say you are a sales manager trying to predict future sales for your company. By using data tables, you can analyze different sales volume scenarios. You can vary factors such as marketing budgets, customer acquisition rates, and conversion rates to see how they impact future sales. This allows you to estimate sales for different scenarios and plan your resources accordingly. By leveraging data tables for sales forecasting, you can make more accurate predictions and align your sales strategies with the expected demand. So these are some additional examples where data tables can be very, very useful in real-world scenarios. Whether it is financial modeling, whether it is pricing optimization, whether it is inventory management or sales forecasting. Data tables provide a systematic way to analyze different scenarios and make informed decisions based on the results.